One of the things that comes up for some design firms is freight allocation. Okay, I'm going to show you an example of freight allocation in this case. Um, so what had happened was we got our quote, okay, for this table, 2 armchairs and 6 side chairs. And you can see that we've priced it out. Well, when we got the bill, we realized that $1,011.60 was the freight allocation. This is not third party shipping and receiving or anything. It's freight from the vendor. Okay, so I created this spreadsheet so I can figure out the percentage of the totals and allocate the freight accordingly. You want to do this in this fashion because, well, one, it follows gap practices, but also because you don't want to just divide it by the number of items. I've seen people where they'll divide it by 3 and call it a day, or divide it by the number of chairs, or some other weird way. But this is the most fair way to do it. And in the event that any of these, get damaged or returned for any reason, you would have to figure it out anyways. So I just break it out to begin with. I always like to know the full setup of something. So that being said, it came up, whoops, I didn't mean to move that. It came up with an allocation of freight. So I'm gonna work off of this and just add these to the items in Studio. Okay, and I'll just show you. So the first one was the dining table. And in through here, I would just go into other costs. I'm gonna add freight and other expenses if applicable, but here I was gonna just add the freight. And when you're doing it on the client side, you now have the opportunity to mark it up if applicable, or just call it a straight reimbursement, okay? And in this case, I'm just gonna mark it up because I know this. So we're paying $344.82. I am able to bill it out to the client, which is important, right? And that's why you don't want to invoice prematurely, because you can see that, I now have to post a payment for the freight when it's all said and done. Okay, so I'm going to save this and go to the next item, which brings me to the armchairs. And I'm going to add the freight to that, and that allocation. And the allocation is based on cost. It's not being based off of weight or anything else. Okay, so you can see I'm just adding these on each of these items, and I'm just going to show you what that does before we wrap this up. 451, 56. Okay, so I just added that up, and let me try to make this smaller so we can see. Okay, so here you can kind of see that we added the expenses because we paid the original amount, but now the amounts that are due are just the freight portion, right? And it allows us to bill the clients. That's why I don't invoice until I know all expenses are in. If you had a third party shipping and receiving, I usually will add that as well. I add that as a second component to each of these. If there's any questions about what I've said, leave them in the comments below, or email any questions to info@mareevuitton.com. Like, post, and subscribe, and to stay updated. Thank you.